Okay, so let's take a look at the next new node to Houdini, which again is very helpful. So it's called the scatter and line. So connect that up. By default, we're not getting anything. So this will scatter points onto your geometry. Okay, and we have a lot of different ways of doing that and a lot of control. You can see here over orientation, relaxation, iterations, attributes, and then how it's scattered as well. So where we do want to scatter points onto the surface, okay, that we've got. We want the coverage, so, well, we'll look at that in a moment. The way this is important, so point count method, so by size, so this is kind of, we want the minimum and maximum radius of each point to be 1 meter, which is bigger than what we've got, so that's no good. So we're going to be using that density attribute, so sorry, the mask attribute that we just created here. So we've got here this mask attribute, and if we put in by density and we see this density attribute, so that's looking for this attribute called density underscore attribute, which doesn't exist. So we're going to use mask. Okay, and we're still not getting anything. That's because this scale needs to be pushed up much higher. So now we're starting to see something. Let's press D on our keyboard, go to background, change this to dark, and then we can see a bit better. So you can already see there that we've got more points in some areas and less in others. Now, I'm just going to drop a quick, initially here, a copy to point. So this is a good idea to get a sense of what you're doing in terms of the p-scale, right? I'll explain what p-scale is in a moment. So if I just drop copy to points there and then find a sphere. Okay, this sphere we'll delete in a moment, but the sphere that has a radius of 1, geometry to copy, and then put it in there. So you can see here we've got a range in scales there, and the points which are in a lower density area have a larger p-scale, so they're trying to fill that space. And what governs that is these two numbers, coverage and density scale. So if I put this to 1, so that means that we're going to try to cover the whole of the surface with points. You can see here we've got something, but at the top of the head, I think we've probably got values. If we look at this mask, yeah, we've got a load of points with a mask value of 0, which means they're going to, they're not going to put any points. So we want to have a few points there. So I'm going to come back to this map. Any points which were, well, initially 1 or 0, since we've changed it, I'm going to change that to a minimum of 0.02. So we've got something everywhere, at least. Now if we come back here, we should see, there we go. So we've got some points at the top there now. And you can see it's a bit extreme, it's a bit over the top, we've got massive balls up here and then smaller ones down here. But the more we push up this density scale now, we'll get more points, and they'll kind of, the more points we add in, they'll scale down to make sense of that. So I'm going to push this up to 100,000, and you can see that it's getting much more interesting now. We've got lots of little points around those detailed areas because of that ambient occlusion attributes, and less points in the kind of flatter areas. So we just get a kind of variation in scale, which is quite interesting. And you can, again, play around with this, try using the directional or the shadows. So obviously, yeah, we won't be using the spheres, so we'll just get rid of that. We'll be using our geometry, and we'll be, trying to randomly add in these points as well.